Well, good morning. It's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. Well, today's Friday, so I'm ending my bookend series that I've done. This has been a series where we talk about things in the Bible that show a beginning, but aren't just there in the beginning. They're also found in the end, either something at the beginning of the Bible and the end of the Bible. And then a constant theme throughout, kind of like bookends on a shelf. And today, I thought I would end with one that's really something for me to chew on as I go into the weekend. This is something that I hope will last longer than today. This is your video thought for the weekend. How about that? All right, so here it is. I draw this from Psalm 139. But instead of just going through the psalm, let me talk to you about it in terms of life. You see this bookend in a real sense in the Bible itself, but particularly in this psalm. The bookend is you and me in this sense. Psalm 139 says, God was there as we were being created, as we were being formed in our mother's womb. The psalmist uses a poetic image that God knit us together while in our mother's womb. Now, most of the Israelites and many of the Jews that were reading these psalms and that authored many of these psalms were people of the sheep and the goats and the flocks. They knew what was going on in a uterus in the sense of things growing. They weren't imagining that God really is inside the mother's womb with knitting needles, knitting away. That's a poetic expression, recognizing that God was there in our lives before our lives even were and as our lives came to be. In fact, the psalmist says that before any of the days of our life came to be, they were already written in God's book. God has a foreknowledge that we can't understand. So God was there before your life came to be, but there in reference to your life. And yet, God's also there at the end of your life. Paul, in fact, wrote to the Thessalonians, a church in Thessalonica. He said, you need to know that when this life is over, we have something the world doesn't have. Those of us who have already died will raise first to be with Christ, and those who are still alive will meet up together with him in the air. And this is something that Paul says should comfort us, as indeed it does. Nobody celebrates really the loss of a loved one, and yet there is a comfort in knowing that those loved ones will be with the Lord. So the bookends of your life are God. You have God as your life is coming into substance, and you have God when your life is over. Then the psalmist talks about, as does the rest of the Bible, how you have God every day along the way. So in days of difficulty, God is there. In days of joy, God is there. In days of the mundane, God is there. In days of victory, God is there. In days of defeat, God is there. In the days of hunger, God is there. In days where you're fully satisfied, God is there. God is in your life, working in your life, available to your life every moment of every day you live, from bookend to bookend. And then the psalmist says in Psalm 139, that's too marvelous for me to even begin to think. I can't understand the depths of a God like that. Never get confused that in the midst of this massive world, God is the bookends and the substance of your life as well as mine. I'm going to chew on that this weekend. I hope you do as well. And I hope to see you next Monday in my next video thought for the day. God bless you.